away. Let's see here, we'll hop onto the official channel. Scroll down. It's currently loading onto the channel as I speak. There it is. Alrighty, so party audio is working as it should. The stream's up, the chat's up, we're all good to go. That is absolutely fantastic. Well, hello everyone and welcome to round 13 of the PlayStation Pacific Tier 1 Championship here on Race Spec Esports. I'm LaneEveringham, your lead commentator for this event, and this time we are racing at the Yas Marina circuit for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Constructed in 2009 and designed by track-making supremo Herman Tilke, Yas Marina circuit has gone down in history as one of the worst racetracks in Formula One. In the real world, the circuit is infamous for creating, at best, mediocre races, and this is actually quite a bad thing, considering that this circuit has a contract that cements its place at the very end of the championship. More often than not, a season of Formula One will end on a dull and dreary note, thanks to this stupid, godforsaken racetrack. But fortunately, in the virtual world, it tends to be a bit more interesting. The circuit was reconfigured back in 2021 to try and improve the racing. The circuit now measures up at 5.28 kilometers and consists of 16 corners, but still has two DRS zones that lead into the main overtaking spots at turn 6 and the new left-hand sweeper of turn 9. The drivers can also try and pass into the new hairpin of turn 5 that Eye Contrast has just made his way through, and into the reshaped sharp right-hander of turn 12 in the final sector. Now, before we focus on this qualifying session here, there is a bit of news to go through first from last week's race in Brazil. Now, from what I could tell, there wasn't any incident report, so very well done from the Tier 1 boys. So the final results remain as they are. G-Force Ford, leading the championship on 308 points, has had his gap at the top reduce to only 9 points, as G-Force Crichton is right behind him on 299. We got 3 rounds to go, one here at Abu Dhabi, we've got a race at Australia, and a sprint round at Jeddah to go through, so the championship is well and truly on between Ford and Crichton. Spicy is P3, and he's on 181 points. A long way behind Crichton, a long way behind Ford. Those two have really been the class act of this season in Pacific Tier 1. GeForce Leo is in 4th place. He's made up a place in the Drivers' Championship. He's on 171. He's overtaken Plevs, who's moved down to 5th. He's on 164, followed by Eye Contrast on 142. Then Spilly on 130. Ferrari Pro on 100. Isaac Kush has made up a place. He's up to 9th on 88 points. And rounding out the top 10 is Darren 11 on 86. In the Constructors, Ferrari are still leading the way on 369, but a huge point haul from both McLaren and Mercedes means that the gap shrinks between the top 3 teams in the Constructors. McLaren are on 350. They're only 19 points behind Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship, and Mercedes are only 17 points behind McLaren on 333. Alpine are next, and they're on 222. They're 111 points behind Mercedes. So yeah, it's definitely a 3-way fight in the Constructors. Next is AlphaTauri, who have overtaken Alfa Romeo. AlphaTauri now on 160, Alfa Romeo on 156. And they're actually equal with Haas, who have vaulted up the Constructors board just a little bit. They're on 156 as well, followed by Red Bull on 145, then Williams on 132, and completing the Constructors table is Aston Martin on 40 points. But that's pretty much it in terms of news. We can now focus on what should hopefully be an entertaining session. And I can introduce my co-commentator for tonight, who is once again GeForce Paddo. Paddo, you've experienced this brand new layout when you raced here in the Elite Series. So what are your general thoughts about this Abu Dhabi circuit?
Hello, good morning everyone. It's been a long time actually. Thank you, Lane, for having me back here. Well, this track, I think it was a bit of a roller coaster on Sunday because I will never ever join a league race without any practice. I will never ever do it again. But I think actually it's actually a nice track to drive. I mean, the new corners have improved, like racing and the layout. But I think it's a better track for time trial, to be honest. Like for racing, it's kind of boring because in first sector you cannot do anything about it unless you have like 3 seconds. You have 3 seconds faster than the car in front. The two DRS zones just make overtaking a lot easier than it should because there are two consecutive DRS zones with two different detection points, and it's just kind of artificial to me, to be honest. But we'll see because the race is on for the championship. So apart from the track, I think we will see a fun race anyway. So
oh, sorry to interrupt you there. Darren 11 had a huge moment coming out of the final corner. Oh, he did a really good job keeping out of the wall, though. Well done, Darren.
Nice.
You did an awesome job, but gee whiz, he had a huge moment coming out of the final turn as GeForce 4 jumps to the top with a 22.8. He's the first driver in the 22s. But your comment about the DRS zones on this racetrack, I completely agree with them. They are so artificial in terms of trying to create racing, because you've got two very long DRS zones with a DRS detection zone in between. All it means is that the guy behind heading out of turn 5 would get by into turn 6, and the guy who was overtaken would get back by heading into turn 9. It's just creating this constant back and forth between a couple of drivers. But no, I completely agree. And it's a bit sad as well because you can't pass anywhere else really around here. Like I mentioned, you can pass into turn 5. You can also pass into turn 12. But those are sort of in desperate situations towards the end of a race. I don't think you would go for those sort of overtakes before that, especially at a place like turn 5 where there's a DRS detection zone you have to worry about when going through the corner, or rather heading into it according to the track map. So if you pass the guy in front of you at turn 5 and you mistime it, then you give the guy you just overtaken DRS heading down towards turn 6, and they'll just blast by you. So it's kind of sad how back and forth it can be here at Abu Dhabi. And from my experiences as a commentator, typically the best races that you see here are thanks to drama, like people crashing or drivers really battling quite hard on the racetrack.
And also I think it's a really inconsistent track sometimes, especially on curbs, but I completely agree with you with turn 5, because usually you want to take the racing line in turn 5 to have the best as you can. But if you need to dive down the inside, then the guy in front of you is gonna go for a switchback and get past you back. So completely agree with you.
It's just disappointing that this track is the place where the final round of the championship is. It really doesn't deserve such an honour. I mean, of course, the nation is very rich with money, so it can afford to be the final round of the World Championship. But in terms of the racetrack, look,
it's meh.
It is very meh. And it's disappointing as well, because this is the most expensive racetrack in the world. Like, this is meant to be Herman Tilke's holy grail racetrack. It's anything but that. So...
Well, let's put it this way, at least it's not the last race spec round. It's not going to be the last one, so...
No, instead we're having that at Jeddah. So, we're going to see some drama at Jeddah, I can assure you, as GeForce Crichton goes 4th fastest, 23.299. Uh-oh.
What a time for Ford, by the way. 22.8 as a banker is a really, really good lap.
What's happened here to Bags Liddell? How did you end up there? Bags Liddell has hit the left-hand side wall at the exit of turn 6.
Wow, I just saw that on the mini-map.
How on earth did you pull that off? See, there he is there.
Spun out of turn 1.
I mean, he did a really good job hitting that wall. I've never hit that wall. From what I can
to be honest.
So he might have had a wheel failure. I don't know. I have heard of that recently.
He's on pad, so...
Oh yeah, that's right, he is too. So no, oh maybe he had a controller disconnect. I don't know. I've had that before. I've had controller disconnects before in my time racing. I've had one here in Abu Dhabi, which was quite a scary experience. Yeah, as GeForce Leo's heading down the long straightaway into turn 6. By far and away the best overtaking spot in the circuit. It's a sharp corner, which means it's a really big braking zone. It promotes people just dive bombing it down the inside. Whereas here with turn 9, you can try and send it down the inside. Alternatively, you can send it round the outside. Try and drive around your opponent if you can. You do have to be careful, though, getting on the throttle coming out of that corner. Because the car doesn't like it too much when you get on the throttle there. The car can step out on you quite easily. And you can end up hitting the barrier. Especially here as well at the hotel section of turns 13 and 14. There's a hint of negative camber on the road, which really unsettles the car, so you have to be very careful going on the accelerator coming out of there. As Leo's jumped up to P2, he's in the 22s now, just like Ford. He's about to begin a flying lap. Tell you what, we're right on board with the championship leader. Give you a guided tour of this racetrack. Into turn 1, down to 5th gear, clips the apex well, uses a healthy amount of curb on the exit as he heads around turn 2, around the tricky turn 3, using all the curb on the inside there, very committed, around turn 4, and up towards the hairpin of turn 5, hard on the brakes at the 50 board, down to 3rd gear, clipping the apex, short shifting up to 4th, not bothering to use any curb on the outside of turn 5. Just use whatever track was available just before the outside curb. Up towards turn 6, hard on the brakes at the 100-meter board, down to 3rd gear, clips the apex, clips the second apex at turn 7. This lap looks very tidy at the moment. DRS open as he heads down the second long DRS straightaway up towards turn 9. Hard on the brakes, bringing it down from 319 kilometers an hour down to about 160 at the apex of turn 9. Uses a bit of the outside curb here around turn 10 into turn 11, then into turn 12, not quite as sharp as what it used to be, and around turn 13, be careful of the negative camber here. You can see, 40 having a moment. That's what I meant. The car can step out on you there. You do have to be so careful.
Yeah, because these off-camber corners just can unsettle the car real quick. The only good thing is that on the second, like after the hotel tunnel, it's not a tunnel, but yeah. You just lose the car, but you can control it actually, and there was a good save for Ford actually.
Absolutely. No,
it could have been Latifi then.
Could have been, but he didn't. So credit to Ford for that.
That's talent.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, you look in the championship right now, both he and Crichton they've been a long way in front of everybody else. In fact, throughout this season, those are the only two drivers who have won any races as Crichton begins a flying lap here as he heads down towards turn 1. These two, oh, hello. Yeah, I was going to say, you can't get away with that. I've seen Crichton on a few occasions abusing track limits. He did it at Suzuka, did it at Kota, tried to do it there at turn 1 at Abu Dhabi, and the game said, no, mate, can't quite do that. And he's invalidated this flying lap. Yeah, they are, in a class of their own, 40 and Crichton. It'll be interesting to see which one of the two comes out on top, whether it be the man who has dominated Race Spec for so long or the new challenge. Oh, it's contrast. He tries to begin a flying lap, but ultimately ruins it at the final corner, just sliding it out way too much.
By the way, Bugs Liddell's controller died on him.
Oh, I was right!
That's why.
My little prediction was right. I've had that happen to me, especially here at Abu Dhabi. I've had one funny moment where, because I don't know why it happens with me, but when my controller dies, the AI doesn't instantaneously take over. Instead, what would happen is that the game would put in the very last input I had in terms of braking, throttle, and steering, and it would keep that input the same for about 4 seconds or so. and it wouldn't change.
Exactly.
And then it would go into AI. Now, this happened to me heading down the back straightaway after turn 5. So I came out of the hairpin, head down the back straight, my controller dies. So I'm going flat out, heading down towards the hairpin at turn 6. I couldn't get my controller reconnected until I was beyond the hairpin, and I had to use the runoff area.
Wow.
That goes like underneath this little building thing. I've never been there before, and I got to explore it for the first time.
Yeah, Beck's controller maybe went full lock, stayed full lock, and then went straight into the wall.
Put him into the wall, yeah. So, really unlucky there, Bags. Unfortunately, these things happen, as G4 Zach is on a flying lap. Tell you what, we might ride on board with him. Got 2 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock, and he's on a flyer. He's yet to set a lap time, so he's currently last, P16. He heads out of turn 5, he'll open DRS. This is about where my controller turned off. So the AI was in full throttle, and it didn't stop being full throttle until I reconnected the controller at about the 50-meter board. So I got to explore the runoff area on the outside of that left-hander for the first time.
All contrast, sliding everywhere.
Yeah, I noticed he had a moment at the final corner, which ruined his initial run. He might have quite a taily car. Either that, or he's experiencing what a lot of us have experienced with this racetrack, where there's not a lot of grip on this racetrack. It's very easy to lose the back end of the car, as Ford demonstrated at this very section at turn 14. So even the best can get caught out by how little grip the cars have around this circuit. As G4 Zach will head around the final corner to cross the line to set a 24 flat. It is 15th for him. He is 1.2 seconds off the pace. And he is 15th. It's tight.
What happened to the Red Bull?
Ooh.
There's a Red Bull spilling.
I guess he spun underneath the hotel. He's trying to recover the car. He's trying to get out of people's way now. But yeah, I'm guessing he spun directly underneath the hotel. And yeah, he's just trying to get the car pointed back in the right direction. He'll probably park it, I would think. As Crichton, he's getting ready to set a flying lap.
Yeah, he parks it.
Now, who's that? Is that Spicy? It is Spicy. He's right on his back bottom, giving Crichton a hard time. Leo getting ready to set a flying lap. Semworth forward. So this is it. The business end of quali is that Kush begins a flying lap. Currently P4 with a 23.261. Into turn 1, fourth gear. Then he eventually reaches full throttle. Uses a bit of outside curb heading into turn 2 and around turn 3. Up towards the left-hander of turn 4. What does the clock say to the first sector? It says he's down, but not by much, by only 8 thousandths of a second. Crichton, he heads towards the first sector split. The clock says for him, he's up, not by much, but he's up by 6 thousandths of a second. What about G4's Ford? Spinning in the background is an Alpine. I'm not quite sure who that is. It's either Luke or Plez, but they have spun out. Yeah. Oh, dearie me. He's P11 outside the top 10 at the moment. So, yep, his qualifying session is done, I'm afraid. Isaac Kush heading down the long straightaway towards turn 9. Hello, there's an AlphaTauri exploring the track limits there on the outside of turn 11. Isaac Kush is up by 10th to the middle sector. What about Crichton here? He's up by 30 thousandths of a second. It's not much, but he's finding time. He needs to find a lot of time in the final sector, though. 40.
Down.
He is down by 8 thousandths of a second. So he needs to try and find time in the final sector. Around turn 15 goes Isaac Kush. Around the final corner now. Up towards the line. Is it an improvement? It is by 1/10 P3 for him. Spicy. He's got one more corner to negotiate. Crichton does not take pole, but he does take P3. What about 40? He'll come up towards the line. He does improve. 22.621. What a lap time. And Leo doesn't quite improve. He misses out on beating his PB, I believe. But his final time is good enough for P2.
Wow, what a lap for Ford. I was telling you already, like 22.8 as a banker was a really, really good lap. Could just improve from it. And he did.
Yep. 22.621. That's a big lap time. That's a very, very big lap time. And consider this as well. From P2 all the way down to P15. Maybe, no, we'll include G4 Sack. Down to P16. The whole rest of the field is spread out by just over 1 second.
Exactly. And
40 found 3.5 tenths.
Yeah.
On the rest of the field.
Yep.
How did
Look how
you
really
pull
close
that
it is.
off?
Yep. Yeah.
Look at that. 3.5 tenths. And then from Leo all the way down to Zach, that's 1.1 seconds, is it? Yeah, about 1.1. So the rest of the field, pretty close. Ford, meanwhile...
Looks like he's on another planet.
Yeah. Alright, 40 takes pole, Leo second, Crichton third, is at fourth, Spicy fifth, Darren 11 sixth, followed by I Contrast, Luke, Ferrari Pro and Bags Liddell, who will start inside the top 10 even after his accident. Wild Boys Nets, followed by Billy, Plebs, Rosquam, Hilles, and G4 Zach will start from the very back of the field. Huh. 3.5 tenths. That was a good lap. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how his race pace fares relative to his quali pace. Because maybe he might have a more qualifying-centric setup, and maybe his rivals have a race-centric setup. So it'll be interesting to see how the others will fare during this event relative to Ford. Because, yeah, that is a big margin. 3.5 tenths is quite a big margin for Tier 1 standards between pole and second.
Yes.
So, now, looking at some of the garages here, I see some medium tyres. I see a set of softs. That's in Sergio's garage, so that doesn't count. So, yeah, what do you do, Pato? Start on medium, start on hards? What do you do?
I actually haven't got any idea about it. Well, considering the gap Ford had in quali, maybe starting on mediums is not a bad idea. And for what I think, I don't think any tire is good around this track. I mean, like in my opinion, there's no tire that makes you feel 100% comfortable. So we'll see. Crichton has go past everyone.
Yeah, Crichton's doing Crichton things because he's Crichton. But interestingly, Pato, only 2 drivers are starting on mediums. Everyone else is starting on hards. Not drivers that you'd expect either. It's Spicy in P5, who is starting on the medium compound tyre. And all the way down in P14 is Roscoe in the Aston Martin. He's also starting on mediums. Everyone else is on the hard tyre.
Well, I think Spicy and Roscoe both started on mediums on Sunday as well. Because Roscoe pitted pretty early on lap 10, I think.
Yep.
Lap 9, lap 10. And Spicy actually pitted for hards, and then the safety car just wasted his race. Well, it's not a bad idea, to be honest. Like, Spicy has got the pace. He showed it on Sunday. Maybe he can just have a better start and make some positions. We'll see.
ACW has added something in the chat that you alluded to earlier, Pato. Grip is pretty poor. After about 30% wear, they start to lose pace on both mediums and hards. So, yeah, tyre management might be a key factor in determining consistent race pace, if that is the case. If you can get more life out of your tyres, it means you can keep up the pace for longer. So it'll be interesting to see, regardless, who gets the strategy right. If we have an early safety car, it will benefit those who are on the mediums right now. So, but if we get a late one, then, well, that'll shake all things up.
Yeah.
We'll get rid of the tyre graphic for now, as Crichton's well and truly exploring track limits out there. He's making sure all the runoff area is clean, ready for use. So we now get ready.
And these tires are nice and warm as well.
You see all the drivers still trying to warm their tires up. They're on the hard compound, just about all of them. And it does take a little while to get their tires up to temperature. I think that is a Alfa Romeo slightly out of place. I believe that's Wogboy slightly out of place there. But here we go. All 16 cars are lined up, ready to run. We've got 29 laps in front of us and 5 red lights, and we're underway here in Abu Dhabi. It's a nice start from Isaac Kush in P4. It's a nice start from Crichton, who challenges into turn 1. Leo giving him just enough room as they head into turn 2. They're side by side heading around to... Oh, and Isaac's off! Oh dear, he's out of the race. He has spun into the wall at the exit of turn 2. And we have a virtual safety car.
It's going to be full one.
Oh!
Full course. Well, what is going on in front? Oh my god.
People checking up. Spin! Who's that? Is that Plebs?
Plebs. He got rear-ended by someone.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, Izzet's left, and it still hasn't turned to a full safety car. It's remaining a VSC. If it was a full safety car, we'll see a yellow dot exiting the pit lane and coming to a stop somewhere. Oh, what?
I'll just stop that. Plebs catches everyone up. Otherwise,
I think he will. The delta should be quite quite big for him after the spin, so he should be able to catch up. Oh dearie me, you can see it off in the corner of the screen as well, coming up the hill around turn 2. Is that just completely loses the car? Maybe had cold tires, just couldn't quite get him warmed up at the start, and away he went. Quick as a flash into the wall, and he's out of the race. There's the predicted pit stop strategy as we're back on the green flag racing. Leo's caught napping. Crichton's on the back of him, but can't make a pass into the final corner. This will end a pretty dramatic lap 1. 40's your race leader. Leo in 2nd, Crichton 3rd. Leo's teammate Spicy right behind in 4th, followed by Darren 11 in 5th place.
Spicy.
Oh, running wide is an Alfa Romeo as well. Saw that too.
This is really close.
Can he send it here? Probably not. Doesn't quite have the momentum to really send it down the inside.
Watch out now, though.
Yeah.
Look at the exit he's got.
I think as well was the mid-corner rotation that Spicy had. It looked like he got a lot more rotation at the apex, which allowed him to straighten the car up earlier. And here we go. Down the inside he looks. But couldn't commit to the move. He has to stay behind. Battery usage again from Spicy in the slipstream. You can understand why he needs to get a move on. You can see he's on the medium tyre. He wants to try and make moves, get towards the front if he can. He's buried behind Crichton. Cannot find a way by at the exit of 9. Will he send it maybe at turn 12? If he was a bit closer, I reckon you could send it. But he wasn't quite close enough. Meanwhile, 40's trying to break away too.
Small moment for Crichton.
Keeping it just enough under control here as we head out to the final corner and down the main straightaway. No one challenging that fastest lap, it seems. 40's the fastest car out on track. DRS is now enabled. It might spice things up, and it might give 40 the break he needs, because look, it's 1.1 seconds between the top two. GeForce Leo will not be getting DRS here at the exit of turn 5. That means Crichton is going to close in on the McLaren driver and give him a bit of trouble. We'll see how powerful the DRS is here. He's got battery turned on, he's just switched it off. Gap closes to 7 tenths, 6.5 tenths. Close a couple of tenths, 2 tenths of a second heading down that straightaway.
Yeah, but Leo's used all this battery to get DRS, but he doesn't, so now Crichton is going to gain a lot of time.
Yep, here we go. And the gap was about 6 tenths or so at the beginning of this straight. It's now under 4. You can see that flashing red light on the back of Leo's car. He is low on battery, and his car is in harvest mode. What's happening here? Here has Roscoe Arm battling for position. Roscoe Arm back down to 13. Ooh. Oh! Ho, ho. Runs wide.
Watch out for Plebs behind as well.
Plebs can't quite find a way by just yet. Through this final sector, it is so difficult to make a move. The corners aren't really designed for overtaking at all. So you sort of have to just stay behind and be patient. Wait for the moment. Wait for the opportunity to arise. A bit of a moment there from Roscoe Arm as well, exiting the final turn. Darren 11, the first 3-second time penalty of the night. And I'm going to assume it's not going to be the last, as Luke's had a moment and he's on the grass. Rejoins safely, but he's now down in P15. And unlike his teammate, he doesn't have a virtual safety car to bring him back into the fight. He's now 7 seconds behind the next driver, which is G4 Zach in 14th place. Here we go. Crichton. Can he find a way by now? Got battery turned on. He's got DRS turned on. Here he comes. Look at the overspeed as well. And he gets by with absolute ease. Crichton's into second. Now can he hunt down G4? Oh, 40's done it himself! He has spun at the exit of turn 9. Oh my goodness, he's rolled out the red carpet to Crichton. And he's tumbled down to 6th.
Oh my goodness. This is huge. This is huge.
This is a mistake 40 can't afford to make at all. For the sake of his championship, that might be a warning as well. I think he had all 4 wheels over the white line, so he might get a warning from that. But oh my goodness me. 40 was in a comfy position out in front. Running wide is Darren 11 there at the exit of turn 1. But, yeah, 40 had a margin in hand. 1.3 seconds. All he needed to do was keep his eyes forward, keep it under control, and he's thrown it away at the exit of turn 9. A manoeuvre I've certainly done a lot over my time racing here. It's very easy to lose the back end. Yeah, I reckon. Yeah. Ferrari Pro?
Well, it's not over though. It's not over though. He just needs to reset his mind now and go for it again. That's what the best drivers do, basically. Yep. This is what makes the difference in real life between the best drivers and a good driver.
Absolutely. Spicy overtakes Leo. Leo shouldn't mind that too much. He should realise his teammate's on mediums, so might as well let him through.
And Pleb's got the job done on Hilles. P11.
And the Hilles won't be in a position
to
take
Crichton, oh my goodness, he was sliding like crazy in the little section.
He's now... Oh, that was a very wide moment there from Spicy. That's probably a warning as well. The exit of turn 15. Well, Crichton, he's hanging on to this lead. But even he's having trouble. At the exit of turn 1, he got really, really unsettled by the outside curb. He just managed to keep the car in a straight line, but only just. And I reckon 40, he's going to have a go. Oh, he's having a go early. Alrighty, down the inside at 5, and he takes the position.
He's got DRS as well. Watch out, because Darren hasn't got any DRS, and Ferrari Pro is going to get him. Alright. Maybe.
Well, Darren's buried in the slipstream of Ford, so he is still getting a benefit. You can see he doesn't get quite close enough to attack into turn 6. But maybe, just maybe, Darren can fight back here. He's turned on the battery. He's got DRS turned on. Does he have enough straight line speed? I don't think he does, as Spicy overtakes Crichton down the inside at turn 9. 40 will hang on to P4.
Well, to be honest, I have to say Darren has got really low downforce because I actually practiced with him earlier.
Oh, so, okay.
That's why he was also like, he wasn't losing time to Ferrari Pro maybe.
Fair enough.
But look how much time he's losing now in sector 3. Ferrari Pro is all over him.
The trouble is, you can't pass through this section at all.
Yeah.
You have... Oh, a moment from Ford again! This time at the final corner. He was sideways, Tokyo drifting it out of that final turn. Gathered it up brilliantly. Oh, and a spin! There goes Darren 11! A full 360 and a half as he puts it into the wall.
Oh, he was into the wall.
Oh, he did a perfect pirouette. And I think he Oh, well, he's now been disqualified.
Oh, that's a shame. Oh my, poor guy.
There we go. His race
And
is
Spicy,
over.
Spicy's in first? What happened?
Yep, he overtook Crichton at turn 9
Uh-huh.
on the previous lap. He had DRS, Crichton didn't, and Spicy got by. Clean as a whistle. Crichton, though, I think he'd be pretty okay just hovering behind Spicy. Just using DRS, maybe saving up a bit of battery if he wants to. Because he should know that Spicy has better tyres right now. They'll have more speed. They will start to wear out soon, though, as Plebs gets by Spilly for P9. I think, if I remember from Elite Series, it took until about lap 9, maybe 10 or so for the mediums to drop off. So,
yeah, lap 8, lap 9, more or less.
Yep, okay. So, yeah, Crichton can't hang around behind him too long because eventually the pace is going to even out between the two compounds. But
look how much faster Ford it is in the first sector compared to Leo. This is basically also where he made the time in quali.
Yep.
So
up the hill, around turn 3. You can see how much more confident he is. Oh,
whoa,
that's overconfidence right there. A dive bomb down the inside, an audacious manoeuvre. It should be completely illegal. You can't come from that far back, and he pulled it off. Are you kidding me? That was a dive bomb and a half. That was a Schumacher dive bomb that actually worked. Are you kidding me?
What a move! My goodness.
Him. He has robbed Leo of third. He hasn't overtaken him. He's mugged him of third. Where did that come from? Here comes Crichton. This is a more conventional overtake. Simple. With DRS, you get in front nice and easy, nice and calm. Not send it from Narnia down the inside of some poor McLaren. My goodness. All right.
I was watching it on replay. Oh my goodness.
I didn't see that coming. That took me and Leo completely off guard.
He's just sliding everywhere. I mean, he's just sliding everywhere forward. He's just going for it 100%.
Oh, yeah, he's not done. He is definitely not done, ACW. I completely agree. He is pushing as hard as he can to get back to the front, and he's just about there. Is he sending it this time? Yes, he is! Down the inside of Spicy. It's a repeat of the previous lap. Ford's into second.
Full deserved. Nice one.
He's a monster at the moment. He's going for it. Come on, Spicy, give him a return serve. No, he breaks early.
Ooh. He also actually outbreaks himself.
Oh, did he really?
Spicy should have known it, though.
Well,
Spicy should have known it, though.
Yeah, he should have seen what Ford did to his teammate on the previous lap. So he should have seen it coming, I agree. And maybe Crichton might be aware to it. I don't know. As Ferrari Pro gets by
Crichton will be surely aware.
Oh, you'd have
Crichton
to.
will be 100% aware.
Alright, around turn 10 and around turn 11. This battle is on for P5. Contrast. Oh, I can't quite get into a position to try and battle into turn 12. There's Wogboy right behind as well. So we got a battle on for 5th. We got a battle on for the race lead as well. 4 cars involved. Crichton, Ford, Spicy and Leo. They begin lap 10 of 29 here at Abu Dhabi. Still got a long way to go in this race, and Ford has recovered brilliantly after his spin, and he's right on the gearbox. Here we go. Alright, around turn 4. Will he send it in deep this time? I don't think he's close enough. Yeah.
Why did you fake it?
Yeah. You can turn to the inside. Yeah. You weren't close enough that time, buddy. But he's close enough here. DRS open. Sitting in the slipstream. Closing the gap up to Crichton. He looks to the inside. Crichton leaves the door open. They're side by side heading into the braking zone. Crichton gives in. He'll get DRS on the second straight.
Switch back.
Here we go. Out of turn 8. And here comes Crichton to retake the lead, heading towards turn 9. There's nothing that Ford can do.
And I think Spicy actually has lost DRS, and Leo is going down the inside.
Yep.
Nice move. Well done.
Spicy's still right there, but I don't think he'll try and re-overtake his teammate. He'll stay behind. Maybe those medium tyres have begun to fall off in terms of pace. Maybe he's starting to lose it now. Yeah, no. Leo's got a bit of work to do to try and catch up to both Crichton and Ford. Gap of 1 second. It might not seem like much, but those two as Spicy pits. So, yeah, it seems that his tyres were indeed falling off.
Fair enough.
So he's in.
Fair enough.
Absolutely. I mean, when you're starting to lose pace, don't bother stretching it out. Just get onto fresh tyres and go. You might as well. So, 40 close. But again, not quite close enough. I've got to keep an eye on Ford as they head into turn 5 now. Every time they go in there, I've got to keep an eye out for him because you never know. Never know. And here he comes. You'll pass him easily. 40 will take the lead heading into turn 6. Crichton, he'll back off. He'll try and get a nice run through turn 7. Does exactly that. And Crichton should get the position back. Opens DRS. Where does he look? To the outside this time. And 40 can't do a thing against that. Crichton retakes the lead. And this was actually something we brought up, Marco. The artificial racing, the back and forth overtaking with those DRS zones. That's exactly what's happening with Crichton and Ford.
Yeah, exactly. Because the drivers, of course, know this, so they're going to exploit it.
Yep.
As every single driver does.
Yep.
And yeah, makes racing, I mean, it makes overtaking a bit meh.
It makes it redundant if you know what the final result is going to be. Like, you know when the guy passes into turn 6, it's just going to get re-overtaken heading into turn 9.
Yeah.
So, it is a bit disappointing. But with that little scuffle between those two, look who's joined the party. Leo's on the back of this now, and he will have DRS.
Yep.
He's in this. He's not out of it. He is definitely in this fight. As they head out of turn 5 and onto the long straight. But you can see there's one difference he has compared to the other two, and that's a lack of battery. He's in harvest mode right now. He's under 10%, so he needs to be a bit careful with his battery use. But right now he's got pace, which is the main thing. Contrast closing in as well on F1 Ferrari Pro as they head through turn 6 into turn 7 and up towards the left-hander of turn 8. Those are the three leaders. Here comes Ferrari Pro and iContrast. iContrast closing in, but not by enough, I think. Yep, no, not by enough to attack into turn 9. Ferrari Pro went awfully shallow, though. But he gets a nice run.
Left some bags.
Yep.
Cuts down the inside.
Gets in front. Gets the position. P7 for Plevs. And to think he spun out on the first lap. And he's now back up to 7th position. He's recovered quite well. So no, credit to Plevs. Keeping, from what I could tell, out of trouble after the first lap. Picking his way through the field. And now he's inside the top 10. He's a fair way behind Wogboy as of right now. He will have a bit of work to do to catch up. As Roscoe Arm pits in to get off his medium compound tyres and move on to a set of hards. A Spicy, well, there you go, 26.7 from Spicy. He's making the most of the fresh tyres. I wonder if he'll get an undercut.
Well, he's not gonna have DRS, which will make him slower in Sector 2. But I think he will make an undercut. He will at least join the battle for sure when the guys speed, the guys in front.
Alrighty, 40. What are you going to do here, mate? You're going to pass? It looks like you're going to pass. Here we go, round the outside. Crichton holding the inside line, heading into turn 9. Crichton dives it in deep, holding that inside line. 40 leaves the door open. They're side by side on the exit. It's tight on the exit too.
Squeeze.
Yeah, absolutely. Squeeze, a big squeeze at the exit of turn 9. Crichton wasn't too willing to give his rival too much room at the exit of the left-hand sweeper. 40's got pace. He knows it. Crichton knows it too. And Leo's watching along in third, just waiting for the two to perhaps have an accident and for him to take the lead. I'm sure he'd like that, to be gifted the lead. Because Leo, he's had an interesting season, full of pace, full of promise, but it just never clicked. It's never come together for a race win. I'm sure he'd be looking for one here at Abu Dhabi. He's certainly in a position to potentially win this. He just needs to keep it clean. 40, dives it down the inside. Here we go. And he gets in front, but Crichton does the switch back. It's now a drag race down the straightaway. Who's got the longer legs? It's a Ferrari, and he has DRS too. But Crichton's in the slipstream. He's buried in the slipstream, heading towards turn 6. I don't think he'll pass here. Yeah, he looks to the inside. He wasn't making a move. Come on. He'll get DRS coming out to turn 7, heading around turn 8, and he'll try and pass into turn 9. Yeah, I reckon he's going to go for it here. Or to the inside, or contact, a bit of argy-bargy there as Crichton gets back in front. He retakes the lead. A short shift there from Crichton, I heard that. Couldn't quite get on the accelerator too soon, so he short shifted, trying to keep the car under control. Around turn 12, around turn 13, and underneath the hotel. Leo just watching along in third, minding his own business, but 40 and Crichton really giving it some at the front of the field as they head around the final corner and back onto the slide from Crichton there as we begin lap 15 of 29. We've got 15 laps to go as G4 Zach gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Around turn 2, up the hill and around turn 3. Could we see another dive bomb down the inside from Ford? He's dumping his battery. He's down into single digits. Will he go for it? Will he send it? He does! Again! Down the inside of turn 5. Crichton sees him coming, and he gets in front.
Well, this time Ford just parked it on the apex just a little bit. Just a little bit.
And then Leo, in that orange McLaren, just watching behind, watching along. A bit of weaving. Say hello, mate. How you doing?
They're having fun. They're surely having fun.
Side note from Crichton. That's going to cost him. Unfortunately, Leo, he wasn't quite close enough to try and challenge Crichton. But it will mean Ford will hang on to the lead as they go into turn 9.
And let's watch out now because Ford looked to be a bit quicker in sector 3. Yes. So let's see if he can pull the gap.
Let's find out. Bags of Dell overtaking Plevs. That's around the outside of turn 9. So a nice move there from Bags. Currently both Ferraris inside the top 10, looking pretty good right now for the Scuderia, but he's still got a long way to go. And the gap has opened up between the top 2. I reckon it's opened up. Oh, into the pits goes Ford, and into the pits goes Leo. Alrighty.
I think Leo crossed the line, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe. It might be reported. I ain't doing it though. But you can see Leo's desperate reaction. He turned in hard to go into the pits. He wanted to follow Ford in. So Crichton stays out. Ooh, will the undercut work? Will the overcut work? Well, here comes Spicy. He'll overtake the pair of Ford and Leo. He's now our provisional race leader, but he doesn't have a huge margin. Here comes Ford and Leo out of the pits. So the gap is 1.5 seconds between Spicy and Ford. And Ford, well, he's on fresh medium tyres. He is going to be very fast out there. Now,
and actually Spicy has got the undercut on both Ford and Leo.
Yep. He's got the provisional race lead right now, so he's looking pretty good. And here comes High Contrast. Round the outside of turn 9. Sends it in deep. Ferrari Pro fights back. Almost a touch between the two. But they get out of the corner unscathed. That is fantastic stuff between those two. Contrast, he's close for a dive bomb, but doesn't fully commit to a move. Yellows.
What happened there?
It's Spilly. Spinning.
Ooh, and Zach with a big slide as well. Oh my goodness.
Crichton stays out for another lap. Crichton stays out for another lap. Why?
Oh my goodness. Is he hoping for a safety car maybe? I don't know. Gonna be worth it?
Everyone else is coming in.
Well, to be honest, looking at how soon Spicy pitted, maybe he just wants to have fresher mediums towards the end. Maybe, just maybe. The Spicy actually pitted pretty soon.
Alright, Spicy. Contact! Spicy runs wide! Oh my goodness me! Contact at turn 4. Will he send it? No, he won't. He'll stay behind. But Spicy will get DRS though. Heading down this straightaway. But there was contact at turn 4.
Spilly's retired in the pits.
He's crashed in pit lane exit. Safety car has been deployed. Oh my goodness me. Oh, the luck goes to Crichton. You're joking. This is the best possible thing that Crichton could have hoped for.
That's a sign from heaven for Crichton. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
This is huge as well. This is huge as well.
Race defining moment right here. Spilly, I believe, crashed out. Pit lane exit. Bringing out the safety car.
What is Spicy going to do now? Going to stay out? He stayed on Sunday. He stayed out on Sunday.
The drivers have to be very careful with the Delta. Hillers will be coming in. Same with G4 Zach. But Crichton, race leader.
The pits.
He's coming in, Spicy. Yep, fair enough. Okay.
Yep.
Maybe he has an extra set of mediums he can chuck on. Maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. It looks like mediums. Yep, extra set of mediums. On they go and away he leaves. Crichton is our race lead. No, he's not. 40 got him at the pit exit. Oh.
Wow.
Well, there you go. I thought Crichton would have had him covered.
Well, Crichton will still have a short advantage. A big one, but still. 2 laps. Ford is on 2 laps all the tires, so it's not too bad in the end.
It'll be an interesting battle between these top 3. They've been at it all race. Now, well, essentially this race has been given a massive reset. Everyone's on the same tyres now that are relatively the same age. So, this is essentially a sprint race. That's what this is. An Abu Dhabi sprint race. Alright. Don't need to worry about tyres. Everyone's on the same tyres, so we'll get rid of that. We'll have a look at position change for a moment. Who's made up the most spots? It's Hillez. Up from 15th position. He's currently sitting P7. That safety car definitely helped him out. Because he was in P2 when the safety car came out. And he's well inside the points now on fresh tyres. And he's got a car in front in the form of Wogboy who has a time penalty. So he's in a pretty solid position right now for some points. Bags Liddell up 2, Plevs up 4. But Plevs has been up and down the order, to be totally honest, after what happened on on lap 1, turn 5. G4 Zach up 6. He's inside the top 10. Ferrari Pro up 5 as well. Started 9th, currently 4th place. Which is quite good. Biggest losers at the moment, Spicy, but he's had to do a 2-stopper. He didn't want to stay out on those hard tyres, so he's come in for another set of mediums. Luke down 4. And of course our retirees, Spilly is at Cush, and Darren 11, who was disqualified for driving the wrong way at the exit of turn 1. So we're down to 13 cars, which means everyone who finishes will score points.
Yep.
As well, Wogboy 3 seconds worth of penalties. G4 Zach has 6. And with a late safety car like this one, penalties can begin to play quite a big factor in determining where you will end up in the final order. So you need to try and keep penalties to an absolute minimum. There's Contrast driving on the edge of the racetrack, doing a pretty solid Kimi Räikkönen impression there. Same with the Alfa Romeo behind in the form of Wogboy. No need to warm up your tyres yet. Still got a whole half a lap to get through first and warm up your tyres. And it won't take too long. These are the medium tyres. So it won't take too long at all to get them up to temperature, get them ready for the restart. Light should go out on the safety car now. Yep, there we go. There's a call from the game's race control. Safety car in this lap. So 40 gets to control the field. with his championship rival directly behind. Who would have thought after the spin here at this very corner at turn 9 that 40 would be leading this race? It's been an astonishing recovery, demonstrating the sheer speed he's got in that car. But Crichton and Leo, they've kept him company. It's been a three-way fight for the lead, and now they've got the rest of the field directly behind them on the same tyres. This ought to be an interesting few laps when we get back under green flag conditions. You can see 40 being patient. He's backing the field up as they head towards the penultimate corner. He's lining it up now. He's waiting. He's waiting. And there he goes. A bit of a wiggle there from Crichton. But a solid restart all round. We're back under green flag racing. Lap 20 of 29. We've got 10 laps to go. You can still see drivers behind trying to get temperature into their tyres as the leaders head through turn 1. Leo's starting to drop back from the top 2. He needs to make sure he stays within that 1 second range of G-Force Crichton in second. Around turn 4. Up towards the hairpin of turn 5. Crichton not in a position to attack here, but he is very much behind the race leader. G-Force Leo third, followed by Ferrari Pro in fourth, then I Contrast in fifth. Wogboy hangs on to sixth place after the restart. Hillers in seventh, Bags Liddell in eighth, Plebs in ninth, and rounding out the 10 is G-Force Zach as Crichton had half a look there. Spicy having a proper look down the inside of G-Force Zach. He's into P10 now. Zach down to P11. Could Luke find a way by? Doesn't quite get the run out to turn 7 to try and attack the AlphaTauri heading down this section towards turn 9. I don't really think anyone else in this order is in any sort of position to try and attack just yet. Now, Crichton and Ford, they're separated by 0.3 of a second. But the gap between Leo and Crichton is almost 1 second. Leo needs to make sure that gap doesn't increase anymore. He needs to get back on it. Try and catch up to the top 2 if he wants any chance of winning this race.
Yeah, otherwise it's going to be vulnerable to Ferrari Pro and I Contrast.
Yep, absolutely. No one challenging that fastest lap for now. We'll give it another lap, see how the drivers fare. Crichton right behind Ford as they head up the hill and around turn 3. Back down the hill and around turn 4. Crichton close. Not close enough to send it here though, he's still behind. So they head out to the hairpin and down the long back straight away towards turn 6. Leo, he's still within a second. He's still doing the job he needs to do. He needs to make sure he doesn't lose any more time. Ferrari Pro right behind. Crichton looking to the inside. He's just trying to be intimidating there. Slots back onto the racing line and just stays behind the Ferrari. Meanwhile, Plez, Spicy, battling for position here. Plez, I think, might have been pushed wide. Oh, that was tight at the apex. Speaking of tight, G-Force Zach and Luke battling. And there's Rosgraham directly behind as well. Speaking of behind, Crichton close, not quite close. Running wide goes forward. Down the inside looks Crichton. Coming out of turn 9, it's tight. Oh, almost contact, but they both get through. Into turn 12. Goodness. Oh, I thought Crichton might have went for that there. Didn't fully commit to the move. He stays behind the race leader as they head underneath the hotel. Out to turn 14 and up towards the final 2 corners on the racetrack. Now, Crichton, he can put himself in quite a strong position if he can get a decent first sector. He can get by 40 pretty quickly, I'd imagine, with the power of DRS. But he needs a solid first sector. As they head around turn 1, towards turn 2, and then up the hill and around turn 3. The gap hovers at half a second. And Leo's now definitely in this. He's 0.6 behind. And Ferrari Pro not too far behind either. So we still got this train of cars still formed after the restart. No one's really broken away just yet. Give it a few laps and see how it all pans out. Here comes Crichton with DRS closing in as he heads towards turn 6. He won't be close enough to attack here, but he just might be close enough to attack down the next DRS zone heading towards turn 9. Oh, he lost time though to Ford. The gap increases back up to half a second between the top 2. You can see Crichton closing in, but not by anywhere near enough. Speaking of which, Ferrari Pro right on the back of Leo. Couldn't find a way by just yet either.
Crichton side by side again.
Close, touch. Oh, and Crichton looks to the inside around turn 11. Oh, and couldn't commit down the inside at 12. underneath the hotel. Out to turn 14. You can hear the engine note. Crichton have to be so gentle coming around turn 14 as they head around the final corner and back on to the main straightaway. It's now lap 23 of 29. We have still got a fair few laps to go in this race around turn 1. Heading up the hill now towards turn 2 and turn 3. The gap increases to 6.5 tenths as G-Force Zach gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Around the hairpin at turn 5. And on to this long straightaway. DRS open again. Not using any battery. Not bothering to use any battery just yet. Just sitting in the slipstream, closing the gap. Couldn't go for the move though. He is though very close, as you said, Marco, to the back of G-Force Ford as they head out to turn 7 and around turn 8. DRS open again. Now. Where will he look though? No, I don't think he will. Unless he really sends it, which he doesn't. Oh, but he's going to send it on the mid part of the corner again. They're side by side at the exit. 40 with the advantage though. And contact again between the two drivers. As Ferrari Pro moves through. He's into third.
What a race for Ferrari Pro, actually. We were focusing on Crichton and Ford, but what a race for the Williams driver. For now.
I can't see any wing damage on Crichton's car either. So I do believe he's gotten away with that. Yeah. But it's always a bit nerve-wracking when you see two cars make contact like that.
And I'll tell you what, I think we will see Crichton driving into turn 5.
Not just yet. He needs a nicer run through the first sector.
Not on this lap, I mean, sorry, turn 6, not turn 5. Maybe. Because he's always looking for a move, but he doesn't, so at some point I think he will just try over there.
Closing in, closing in, closing in. The overspeed is tremendous. Doesn't get close enough though to attack into turn 6. G-Force Leo is attacking though at turn 6. He's battling Ferrari Pro on the exit of turn 7, heading around turn 8. It's now a drag race. Williams versus McLaren. The two Mercedes engine cars battling towards turn 9. Leo has the advantage. He swoops down to the inside and Crichton trying to fight again. He needs to drive it a bit wider. Oh, 40 keeps the position. Oh, and a spin! Ferrari Pro has spun at turn 10. I believe there was contact between Ferrari Pro and Leo. You don't just spin at that particular point. There might have been contact between Ferrari Pro and Leo there. I wouldn't doubt it. We've seen contact heading into turn... Oh, 40 has a moment coming out of the final corner. Caught it well, though. Ferrari Pro down to last place. As we head up the hill once again. What's going on back here? We've got drivers in.
Yeah, player specs and maybe they touched with Ferrari Pro.
Maybe.
Maybe his car didn't ghost.
Maybe. That's a fair point to make, actually. So yeah, they're both getting repaired. All three cars are getting repairs. Alrighty. Top two separated by half a second. G-Force Leo still has DRS. He is still in this. As they head around the hairpin of turn 6 and around the hairpin of turn 7. Around the flat-out left-hander of turn 8. The DRS open again. He switches on the battery just for a brief moment. Closes the gap up to Ford. Again, not close enough to attack here, but he gets so much grip at the mid part of the corner. Tries to draw alongside, but he can't get forward. He's right on his rear end. As they head into turn 12. So close between these two drivers. You have to be careful that outside curb, 40. Gee whiz. An outside curb can be quite nasty on the outside of turn 13. Around the final corner and back onto the main straight. 40 with a big old tank slapper. Begins lap 26. We've got 4 laps to go. Around turn 1. The gap's now 3 tenths. Just over 3 tenths. 4 tenths now as they go through turn 2. Leo needs a decent first sector here if he wants to have DRS. Does he have enough in the tank? Don't think so. I don't think he'll be getting DRS this time around, which may hurt him. All right, Crichton, half a second back. DRS open again, not bothering to use any battery. I think Crichton, he's just trying to play smart. 40's got battery though as well. They both have a lot of battery. Crichton close, but doesn't fully commit to the move. Meanwhile, Spicy going down the inside into turn 6. He gets in front of Hilles. Hilles, can he try and fight back? The answer is not quite. And Spicy will get DRS again. Crichton has DRS heading towards turn 9. He's not close enough this time around, I think, to try and challenge 40. He is not. He'll stay behind the Ferrari, heading out to the left-hand sweeper. Around turn 10, into turn 11. See the car bottoming out there at the right-hander. You do have to be a bit careful with turn 11. Bit of a nasty corner. Leo's lost a considerable amount of time. I believe Leo's made a mistake somewhere. He's now 2.2 seconds behind. So he's well and truly out of the fight for the lead. Unless, of course, these two, Crichton and Ford, really start going at it. It's now lap 27. 3 laps to go here at Abu Dhabi. With half a second separating the top two. Crichton in P2. He has DRS down the long straights heading towards turn 6 and turn 9. 40 though, he's demonstrated he's got all this pace and he's still got plenty of battery. He's got over 50% in fact. Compare that with Crichton who's got 40%, which is still quite a lot. It's just not as much as 59%. Using a bit of battery there from Crichton. Using the raw power of DRS as Bags Liddell sets a new fastest lap with a 24.7 into turn 6. It's very close. So close between the top two. As they head around turn 8, the left-hander with DRS open. Closing up again, but not by enough to try and challenge the race leader here as they go into turn 9. Crichton closes in incredibly deep under brakes, but 40 gets the better exit as they head towards turn 10 and around the Marina section of Yas Marina. Around turn 12. Oh, slightly missing the apex, I think, there from Crichton. Losing a little bit of time. Not a lot, but just a little. Around turn 14. Nice and tidy from our two leaders as they head around turn 15 and towards turn 16. And back onto the main straightaway. 2 laps to go. 5/10 separating the two cars still. Still half a second. 40's done a mega job resisting Crichton's pressure. Keeping his car on the racetrack, not making any mistakes. As they head down the hill towards turn 5, you can see Crichton using a bit more battery as Plebs gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And he's down in P11. That may affect him because he's got Bags Liddell right behind him. DRS open on the Mercedes-Benz of Crichton, closing the gap up to the car ahead. 3/10, 2.5 doesn't fully go for the move, closes in very deep. Contact, a small bump between the two cars as they head out of turn 7. A bit wonky there from Crichton out to turn 7. Couldn't fully commit out of the corner, and he's dumping the battery. Look, he's used a fair chunk of it as they head towards turn 9. 2/10 separating the cars as Crichton looks underneath Ford but can't get fully underneath him. He has to stay in second as they head towards turn 10 and towards turn 11 and 12. Crichton 2.5 behind Ford, but 40 once again just resisting the pressure, not making mistakes, keeping the car in front as they head towards the final 2 corners on the racetrack. Turns 15 and 16, I should say. They head around the final turn and back onto the main straightaway. 5/10 separate the top two on the last lap of the race. 40 still has a ton of battery. He's got just over 40%. Crichton has got just under 20. Oh, what a moment from Crichton there. A big old wiggle through turn 2. A brilliant catch, but it's cost him precious tenths of a second. It could have cost him so much more. But can he go for the race win from this far back? He is dumping whatever he's got left. But so is G-Force Ford. So Crichton has to rely on the power of DRS alone as they head down this straightaway towards turn 6. Crichton isn't close enough to send it here. getting through the left-hander, through the right-hander of turn 7. Crichton can't quite get the run. Fordy's hanging on brilliantly as they head down this long straightaway for the final time towards the left-hander of turn 9. Fordy has gotten rid of all of his battery. Can he come out of this long sweeper unscathed? Yes, he can. He keeps the car nice and stable. What a brilliant drive from our championship leader. After that spin earlier in the race, I thought his opportunity for a race win completely went out the window. But he demonstrated the raw pace that he had from qualifying, and he applied that here in the race. Fordy comes around the final corner to take the checkered flag and win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix with Crichton home in second and Leo completing the podium places in third. Contrast fourth, followed by Spilly in fifth. Hill at sixth, then Luke, Wogboy, Roscoe Arm, G-Force Zach, rounding out the top 10. There we go. How about that? How about that? Never would have thought he was going to win that race. After that spin, I thought it might have been game over for a race win for Ford. But he had so much pace. And that final stint, don't think he put a foot wrong. He had a few moments sideways out of a few critical corners. But every time he lost the back end of the car, he would gather it up quickly and didn't lose any sort of time. Crichton gave it his all. But that little mistake through turn 2 cost him precious time, which meant he wasn't able to challenge Ford on the final lap of the race. He had to settle for second. And Leo completing the podium places in third. And here we go. Corridor of celebration for G-Force Ford. He will extend his championship lead by 7 points over his rival Crichton. After what was an atrocious race weekend at Brazil, he has well and truly redeemed himself here at Abu Dhabi. What a sublime performance.
Fully deserved.
And like I said, I didn't think he was going to get it. After that spin at turn 9, I thought he threw it away. But he had all the pace and recovered brilliantly. So, when they load up, hopefully they load up. It's taking a while to load up. Where's my final results screen? I want my final results. There we are. I got the music. Oh, I don't get to see the final results. Excuse me?
Yeah, that's weird.
Why? I want... Oh, for goodness sake. Well, hopefully somebody got to see what the final results were. What was that all about? Oh, for goodness sake. Anyway, we'll invite the top 3 in. And we'll have a nice... Oh, go away. Why is it that they decided that was a good idea? Just chucking up these random news articles every time you return to the main menu. I don't care. EA, I honestly do not care about some random championship stuff that you want to shove in my face. Just go away. Alrighty, I'll invite the top 3 in. We'll have a chat. Let's see here. Ford, Leo. And because Mr. Crichton is just difficult, he's always appearing offline. There we are. Let him join. We'll have a chit-chat. Oh. You know, another important championship race, I think. This time, the favour has swung back 40's way. Like I said, 7-point swing, so that will increase the gap between the top two to 16 points heading into the penultimate round at Australia. And that would also mean mathematically 40 could secure the championship next round. I mean, granted, it would need a pretty shocking race from Crichton, but it's not mathematically impossible. So, I did invite them in. Oh, notifications not bloody working. Oh, for goodness sake. Screw PlayStation. I just want things to work nicely. Sorry, Leo40, I would have welcomed you in, but
I didn't even receive the notification, so you were not the only one.
Oh my goodness. I hate Sony, really. Just simple things. Make them work, please. But hello, you two. Nice to have you here. Hello. I suppose I better check with this as well, just to make sure. Yep. Alrighty, tell you what, with you two here, we're going to start the interviews and we'll see if Mr. Crichton elects to show up. Start from third, we'll make it up. You know the drill.
He's in now.
Oh, is he in now?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Crichton. Hang on. Got to check this as well. Because I decided to reset all my volume settings that I've saved earlier. Alright, there we go. Right, yeah. Thank you to all three of you for joining us here for a few post-race questions. First of all, congratulations to all three of you finishing on the podium again. We'll start from third. We'll make our way up per the norm. So, GeForce Leo, another third place finish for you. I'm going to assume this probably wasn't what you were hoping for, because you were definitely in with a shot during the midway phase of the race.
Yeah, I mean, the result's good, but it's probably one of the more frustrating races. I'm not pretty frustrated after that, to be honest, because I don't know. It's like I'm quick enough to be in the DRS, but I'm not quick enough to like just have fun, I guess, because that's all that matters really. I'm not in the championship. I just want to have fun and race people, but I'm always just a bit off. Yeah. I can never get close. It feels like I'm driving good. I don't know why I'm slow, to be honest. I've never felt this, but yeah, I'm not in a great mood, to be honest.
No, I understand. But we'll talk about qualifying first. P2 at the end of qualifying. You didn't end up improving on your final run. Could you take us through what happened?
Yeah, the car just didn't hook up.
Okay.
As simple as that, I guess. It's just sometimes the time just comes to you in the last run, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just, you might have a small slide and then mental's off for the rest of the run, and it's just how it goes sometimes, but that lap from 40 was very fast.
Yeah, 22.6 at the end of qualifying from him. You two, if I look at the final results from qualifying, yep, you two were the only two in the 22s, I think, at the end of the session. So you could take some respite from that, I suppose. I believe you were the only two in the 22s. Yeah, Crichton only did a 23-1. So yeah, no, you two were the only two in the 22s. So a front row start. How was it on the hard tyre?
It was alright, I guess. Just sat behind. I don't know, 40 spun, and then I was like, alright, I guess I'm not seeing him for the rest of the race, and then all of a sudden he's passing me.
Back.
I'm like,
yeah.
What you know,
yeah.
How's it, like, I don't know if he reset the track, but...
No?
Didn't reset well. Anyway, because I was happy that I was finally going to be not third in a DRS train, so I might be able to battle, have some fun, but then my teammate on mediums flew past and 40 flew past, and I was just like, oh my god, dude. And then, yeah, and then pit stop went alright, still in third, and then the final stint, I felt like I was driving quite quick, but I'm just not, I don't know what they're doing. And I've watched their onboards and stuff, and it doesn't look like they're doing anything different. They obviously are in this way, they're a bit quicker, but... Yeah. And then Ferrari Pro was all of a sudden, like, flipping esports pace and flew past me. I was like, what?
Oh no.
I wasn't in a great mood then, and then I'll have to rewatch it because we had a coming together.
Exit at turn 9?
Was. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I thought you two came together just by the way Ferrari Pro was positioned. I didn't see it fully. I saw the end result of it. I had a feeling you two might have touched just based off where he ended up, because he looked too far away to just spin out at turn 9, because he was pretty close to turn 10. But
yeah. Well, I was pushing him out wide and I expected him to back out, but because obviously they were going, and I was even more angry now because they're off, and it's like, as soon as I lose DRS, there's literally no chance after that.
Yeah.
So I was being pretty aggressive, and I wasn't in a great mood. So we'll see how the stewards see that, but yeah, another average race, I guess.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I had a feeling you wouldn't be too impressed after that, because I made a point that you actually looked pretty comfortable in that P3 position during sort of the end phase of that hard stint. You were still there with them. After that, when the safety car came out and the whole field reset, those two just sort of drove away, it looked like.
Yeah, it's confusing, but
yeah.
I don't know, it's the thing of this league is it's as long as nothing goes wrong, it's fairly easy to get P3 for me. But getting a win, which I'd hope to get a win, but I don't know if it will happen, to be honest. But getting a win is like a lot harder.
Chin up. Well, Mercedes eventually got a win in real life this year, so you know it might come to you. Just got to keep going with it, I suppose.
You get bored of trying for a while, and you get bored of getting no results.
I get that. Yeah, I understand. But Pato, do you have anything to ask G-Force Leo?
Well done, mate. You're getting P3 in the standings, I think, as well, so best of the rest. Good job. We were talking about, me and Lane, we were talking about, like, in this season there's been only 2 winners. Do you think you can pull that win, like, in the last 2 races of the season, especially in the home race? I mean, it's a home race basically for everyone, but still.
Yeah.
Oh, you're Kiwi?
Yeah, I'm Kiwi. I'm pretty close still.
Okay.
So.
It's a home race for him.
It's the closest race you have in the calendar.
I'd
anyway.
advocate for a New Zealand Grand Prix.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'd advocate for one.
Yeah, I'd love to get a win. I mean, all I need, because I have the pace to be behind them. All I need is a little bit of luck, but
the extra.
I haven't got much luck. But we'll see.
No, chin up.
All right.
But,
wish you good luck.
Thanks.
What are your thoughts about next week's track, the newly configured Albert Park Street circuit? How do you find it?
I enjoy Albert Park. I think it's a good track.
Yep.
We'll see. I don't know.
Oh well. Remain optimistic, man. You're doing well. You're getting good results, and as you said, you need a little bit of luck to go your way. But no, congratulations, mate, on the P3 finish. Well done.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
But, we'll move on to P2. Mr. Crichton.
Yo.
Gave it your all tonight. You were going for some interesting moves on your arrival at turn 9 that we kept looking at. Man, you were really giving it some throughout that race. But we'll start off with qualifying. A P3 result, I brushed on it earlier. 23-1 at the end of quali. I'm assuming you're not too happy with the time.
No, I wasn't too. I wasn't really that disappointed with that because I think I only got 2 runs in quali really because I was a bit late to starting in the session.
Didn't know
since I was on the shitter. So missed a run there, and my setup was fully for the race. So my main goal was just to try and get on the second row, which I managed to do. And that was quali really. So I wasn't too disappointed with it.
Fair enough. But your race start looked pretty decent.
Yeah, race start was good as usual.
And then after that, let's see here. I think you were maintaining that sort of second place for a while. I think you and Leo might have been or was it you and Spicy battling for position?
So I was battling with Leo for the first lap, and then I picked up a warning from the first corner, which I was like, shit, You know, I probably shouldn't have been there, and then I was like, fuck. And then, yeah, on Spicy with his mediums come through on Leo, and he was trying to pass me, so I had to use a bit of battery there. But the thing is, I knew his tyres would hopefully fall away by lap 4, lap 5.
Mm-hmm. But meanwhile, Ford was out in front of you, and I think he made a pass on Spicy, I think, heading into turn 9. And then you see the scarlet red Ferrari spin out in front of you.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts at the time?
Oh, I thought it was going to happen. I caught it before the race. I thought Bailey would spin because it's a track where there's not much really grip, but somehow he did a fucking mad 360 and lost, 3 seconds or something. Yeah. And I think he was lucky having that DRS there too, so he kind of just caught back up really quick, so he got away with that one, and you know, Bailey showed his pace in that first stint on the hards.
Yeah, didn't he? What? I mean, we were quite shocked by it as well, just how much pace that he had relative to everyone else. But you didn't give up though. As soon as he found a way by you, you tried to keep the fight alive, having those little battles at turn 9. You had some really good mid-corner rotation through that corner.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, especially in the last, as you saw. But yeah, no, for the whole race, my car was turning really good through there, and felt like I could just turn it back, which was nice.
Yep. But yeah, you and 40 had some small battles here and there. Everything was starting to ramp up, and then eventually your two rivals, being 40 and Leo, pit in, and you stayed out.
Yeah.
What was your mindset during that pit period?
Basically, I was going to go until there was a safety car lane. At that point,
You were gambling for a safety car?
Yeah. As soon as I got to that stage, I was like, I'm not boxing here, I'm just going to keep going.
Right.
And I saw that Spilly had a moment the lap before, and I was kind of hoping he was just going to, just spit the dummy and throw it away. And then luckily, that safety car, well, I was kind of hoping for a VC, that was the main thing, but still that safety car wasn't really complaining. Like, say it came another 3-4 laps later, that's when I really wanted it, but came a bit early.
Yeah. No, I thought you were going to end up in front of Ford.
Yeah.
Pit exit. But he snatched it from you.
Yeah, I think I need to just, I don't even know, I just need to practice more and work out how fast I can go in the pits, you know, when it's red on the Delta, and work all that fun games out. But yeah, no, I came out hit 2, which I wasn't that worried about, because I knew if I could just go with Bailey, we could probably have a, just have a crack there.
Yep, fair enough. But that final stage of the race, after that safety car period, both of you were pretty even in terms of tyres. You were both pretty even in terms of battery throughout most of that race as well. But what were your thoughts in that final part? It looked like you were sort of waiting for your moment to really go for it.
Yeah, nah, it's terrible driving by me. You know, like if I do that in real life, I get slapped up by Dad, that's for sure, and stuff. Yeah, no, I feel like I definitely should have been trying to pass and put pressure on and just wheel bang and do things like I used to do. Like, I don't know what I was doing there, I was just following the leader, like, stupid. So yeah, now looking back, I probably should have just had a crack when my tyres were probably slightly better than Bailey's. But yeah, I feel like I probably should have passed instead of just sitting behind, just waiting for that moment. Because I thought his tyres were going to dive more than mine, but apparently that's something I need to learn in this game. You know, it kind of just evens out. So it's something I learned now, that when you have the fresher tyres, you really need to go straight away or just make a battle from it, which I always used to do and stuff. Even on the older tyres and stuff, I always used to fight it real hard. And and then tonight I was just, I don't know what I was doing. It's just a shell of me, just sitting duck, just sitting there,
being
following the leader.
Conservative.
Yeah, I don't know, especially when I'm 9 points behind in the championship. You know, like, it's something I wouldn't usually be doing in a championship in real life or on the game. So yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, you're you sound very disappointed in yourself after that one.
Yeah, I'm not disappointed. Well, yeah, of course I'm disappointed in myself, but you know, Bailey had a great pace tonight, so.
But no, that final stint, I had a feeling you were looking like you were being conservative, but I think one other critical bit of information that probably would have helped you is that Bailey almost had about 20 to 25% extra battery than you. Yeah. Pretty much all the way through that final stint. So even when you turned the battery on towards the end, he could match you. And then
and then I felt my rear traction just fell away a lot more than Bailey. I don't know if it's because the lead car or what, but I felt like just coming out of that chicane, like the bust up there, I don't know, I was just lacking a little bit of drive there.
Yeah.
And then that's I'd say with 2 to go, that's when I was like, yeah, I'm not really going to get this win here unless somehow Bailey makes a mistake and I get mad drive, so I could send it for a dive bomb, but I wasn't even close to that. So,
yeah.
And then last lap I almost dropped it from turn 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
Caught that one.
that was scary, that's to say, and I think I lost 2 tenths there somehow. I thought I would have lost more, but that one was very, very close to going away from me, that one.
No, you caught it brilliantly.
Yeah.
Because, you had a big old tank slapper,
Yeah,
and I thought
massive,
that, after that, unless
That's-
40 made a mistake, it was his.
Yeah, exactly. And like I nailed the next corner, but it still wasn't enough. I think it was like 6 tenths, and I saw Bailey's battery, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to get that in turn 9.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when I was just had to settle there for P2 and yeah, just chill.
Yep, fair enough. Mr. Pato, do you have anything to ask?
I think he lagged out.
He disconnected.
Oh, PlayStation, could you just work with me? Well, whatever. Okay, well, okay, I'll gather myself up. One final question for you, mate. Next week, for the penultimate round of the championship, we're heading over to Albert Park. How do you feel heading into next week?
Not too bad. I'm not sure if I won that one last season or not. I think I might have. I forget.
He did.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's stuff I won here and there last season. So we'll see how we go. But I know I just need to slap myself up before the race and actually, just pull my finger out and not just sit there and drive. And just drive like a little old lady. So that's one thing I need to work on for next one. Just try and get that fight back in me, which I don't know where it's gone, but I just seem to be sitting there doing fuck all like I don't care. So I just need to find that hunger again like I used to have, because it's definitely not what it used to be when I was versing like Amazing Air and that I'd full be pumped up and everything. So I don't know what it is, but I need to find it again.
Alright. Need to stop being conservative, Crichton.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Like you've probably seen tonight, massive difference from how I used to race.
Yeah,
fighting for championship.
To be totally I probably didn't mention as much as I probably should have in the stream, but I did notice that you would get close, you would show yourself to the inside, and just weave back in, back onto the racing line, and I would have felt. With you, normally you would go for those moves, those 50-50 moves, and try and make them stick, because you're very good at those.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know. And so I don't know if it's this game or it's just me. Like I just feel like I'm too nice. I don't know if it's because Bailey's a friend of mine or what, but I feel like as soon as I hate someone, then it's so much easier for me to just go out and do it. But I don't know. Just something I need to find.
But, best of luck for next week.
Cheers.
But for now, I suppose congrats on the P2 finish.
Cheers, thanks, Lane.
Keeping the damage limited. To only 7 points. So,
and nice job to Leo as well on P3.
Yeah, it's
good.
another
back to back.
G-Force 1, 2, 3.
Thanks, Lane.
You fellas are getting good at this. So, but we'll move on now to our race winner, and my goodness, 40, you were on fire today. Gee whiz, you were fast.
Thank you, Lane. It was it was good though. Good to see practice came off.
Yeah, well, okay. First off, 22.6, mate.
Yeah. It was
Another good lap from you.
Mate, qualifying's been on this season.
Yeah.
Fuck, do you know how good that lap time is by Bailey? That's 1/10 off the crazy kid and stuff is on Xbox. What's his name?
Yeah, I think it's Elite.
Oh, yeah, that's him. Yeah. Like he did a 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it was a good lap. We've been pretty good in quality this season. Yeah, especially in the final runs. I feel like my lap's always hooking up. Just able to get there. Hopefully, I haven't jinxed it for the rest of the season, but it's going pretty well for me so far.
It's sort of as we talked about last week. It's our confidence with the car and yourself. Just string it all together, because that gap was a big gap at the end of qualifying.
Yeah, I think it was 3.5 tenths or something, but I think it's largely due to the new wheel. Honestly, you get so much more just feeling through the car and what it's doing. So Yeah, I feel like ever since I've, got this, it's been a lot easier to, in those high pressure moments, to kind of control the car a little bit better. Yeah, you just get so much more feeling through your feet, through your hands as well. Yeah, definitely worth it.
Race start, how was it for you?
Yeah, pretty much about as good as it could go, I thought. Got off the line pretty well, unlike last week. So yeah, hopefully back to good ways again. And then yeah, I was just trying to pull away from DRS. I saw the gap was flickering with Leo there for a little bit, with that 9/10 of a second, and then yeah, saw Zach was going to overtake him, so I tried to push a little bit more.
But you had that gap at one point. You had about 1.3 seconds over the rest of those behind you, and then turn 9 happened.
Yeah, I was yeah, as I said, I think that's the corner Zach actually overtook Leo, so I knew he was going to have quite a bit of battery. I was guessing anyway, because he was sitting behind for a while, and so yeah, if I really wanted to pull out a DRS, like that lap was definitely a bit of time, so I just pushed the car that extra little bit than, what I had been doing for the previous laps and throughout practice. So yeah, I guess you could say maybe I was trying to make a little bit more even, but yeah. No, it was a nice sort of 360, I guess.
It was a pretty solid 360. You didn't lose as many places as what maybe you could have lost if you didn't get that 360.
Nah, and it was lucky it was lap 4 as well, not lap 1, because the places were, it was only a couple places, which was handy as well.
But I thought it was done, to be honest. I didn't know how much race pace you had at the time. Obviously, it was only lap 4. But I made mention during the pre-race sort of menu, you had a lot of quali pace. So I thought maybe you have a qualifying centric setup, maybe not one suited for the race. You then proceeded to prove me wrong after that spin, because you came back like a bat out of hell and moved yourself back up towards the front.
I didn't want this race to be a damage limitation race, and as you heard Zach say earlier, he called it, and I think a party said something like, I don't know what he said, but it was along the lines I called or something. I think my head just went absolutely bonkers at that comment. I was absolutely filthy at it, so had to prove him wrong, and I did.
Did you call him a bottle job or something? What did you say?
No, he just said he called it or something like that.
I called it.
Can't remember exactly the line it was. It was something like
exactly
that.
What I said.
But I wasn't having it pretty much, and we gave him the head start, but we came back. So. Yeah.
Zach, man.
Yeah, you can blame Zach. Zach can only blame himself for this P2, because I'm sure if you didn't say that, it was probably going to be damage limitation race if you didn't say that. I'm going to be honest, but yeah. After he said that, I wanted to win real bad.
And then you came back through the field. You were not mucking around. My goodness, what were those sends at turn 5?
Yeah, mate. As I was saying, I think last week in the post-race commentary, I was saying how the corner's so open and you can, send it from so far back. So that's what I did, made the most of it, and thankfully it got me. Without that corner, I definitely wouldn't have been up as quick as I was. So yeah, I kind of just relied on that corner a lot. I had a pretty high downforce setup, I think. Higher than most people, I think. So through turn 3, I was able to get on the power pretty much full throttle a lot sooner than them.
Yep.
That gave me a good slingshot into the corner. So yeah, kind of worked out well, my setup in that regard. But it was a little bit scary at the end of the race being slow.
But I did notice that through turn 3 I think I was on board with you, and it was either Leo or Spicy. It was one of the McLarens in front, and those two would take a racing line that didn't involve any inside curve at turn 3. You were all over the thing. You were very comfortable with that curve throughout a lot of that race. And I think that helped you. That extra rotation, that extra speed you could carry through the corner allowed you to gather momentum into 5 to send it down the inside. I remember watching it for the first time. I think it was you sending it on Leo. And it took me so off guard. And I proclaimed it was illegal. You mugged him of the position. You shouldn't be allowed to send it in like that, just mug someone of a place. It was brilliant though. Absolutely spot on.
I guess it requires a bit of coordination as well from the person you're overtaking. So thankfully all the guys I was battling were, they're pretty good drivers as well. So I think once they saw I was up the inside, so there was always good respect there.
But you eventually retook the lead. Did you make any comments back to Crichton at all?
No, just, I still had a job to do. The race definitely wasn't over in the first stint when I got the lead back. So, as much as you want to say it, sometimes you got to keep
I wish you did say it, but...
And, so that's what I mean.
Some motivation.
If I said it, that's it.
That's
Zach
how it
was
works.
saying before, he just needed something to hate, and he gave me something to hate, so it kind of gives you that extra drive, and I don't think Zach was saying he didn't have that tonight. He definitely wasn't driving to how he normally does. He surprised me by sitting behind it for as long as he did, so yeah, if he had that extra drive like I did tonight, it would have been different. It could have been a lot more battles, I think. I'll say that. I don't know if it was going to be a different outcome, we'd had to see.
Some wing damage.
Well, far out. I thought you were going to have wing damage with those collisions out of turn 9.
I thought I did. I had to check out one lap. I thought it was a bit
There was
bit
one
whack,
lap,
that one.
There was one lap, you lost about 4 tenths through the final sector. And I didn't say it, but I thought it. I'm like, oh god, has he got wing damage?
That's probably because I was checking it. I was kind of nervous. I was, just trying to check. I was like, oh shit, here we go again. But yeah, no, we were alright.
You're all good.
Survived. Yeah.
All good. But, you eventually took the lead back, and then you made your pit stop to move on to the medium tyre. You were followed in by Leo. Hopped onto the medium tyre. And what were you doing after that point? Was it just sending it, or just driving as you were?
The first lap was a send, and then I thought Zach pitted, but he caught me off guard and he didn't pit.
Caught me off guard too.
After that, it was kind of just, okay, let's, keep these tyres intact, because I knew they were going to get distance from where I was. I, didn't have any issues with that. And yeah, I knew, considering Zach hadn't pitted, it was either going to be a P1 or P2, depending on how Leo fared up on that second stint. So yeah, Zach, he did say it. He got a bit lucky with that safety car, for sure. But, I was just really glad at then that I did come out in P1 still for that safety car. I think that was a really important part of my race as well.
Yep, you two came out pretty close to one another. Coming out of it, I did notice Crichton overtook you, but then he had to give the position back due to an illegal overtake. So it must have been pretty close between you two. But
yeah, it was.
You then controlled the field after the restart, backed everyone else up, got on with it. And how hard were you pushing in those final few laps?
As hard as I could without using any battery, to be honest. And especially considering, as I said, Zach definitely had quicker straight line car than I did today. And that was noted going up towards turn 9, but somehow he also had more front end than me through that corner, so it was really weird. I'm guessing his front wing was higher than his rear wing. This race, my front wing was lower than my rear wing for that extra bit of stability, which didn't really help. I still spun, but I think that's probably what did give him that extra mid corner rotation.
Maybe.
But yeah, I was really on edge a lot going into turn 9 because I knew he was definitely close enough to send it. He just never did, and when the final 3 or so laps started ticking down, I saw I had 70 or 80% battery. I was pretty confident then that I had in the bag. It was going to be pretty tough for him to overtake me with that much battery still in store. So it was just a matter of driving the car to the end. But yeah, Zach, he definitely wasn't on how he usually is tonight. Pace wise, I think it was there, but racecraft, as you said, I think he'd be pretty disappointed with that.
I don't think he'll be driving conservative next week. So.
Next week, yeah.
Next week will be win it or bin it. So they'll either be front wing on the car or they won't.
There you go. I'll keep
We'll see.
I'll keep that in mind, Zach.
Yeah, can you tell me before the race starts so I actually have motivation? So otherwise I'm just going to drive like an old lady again.
I can hop into a G-Force party and give you a motivation.
Yeah, just slap me in the face real quick and just tell me how shit I am and that I've achieved nothing.
Alright.
Then that's all I need.
I'll come prepared, Zach. I'll write down some stuff for you.
Then I'll find a second.
But no, 40. You were driving pretty brilliantly in that final stint. You really didn't put a foot wrong. You had a few slidey moments, particularly at the final corner, I noticed.
Yeah, that curb was always a little bit scary.
Yeah.
But you have to take it. I mean, to get the full time out of the lap you can, you always have to take that curb. And so,
yeah.
you know, risk first reward. Thankfully, I guess I can control it most times it happens.
Yeah. And yeah, Crichton straight line speed, well, it was noticeable as well as your better corner speed, but I think the big area that really gained you massively, and Crichton alluded to it, was the exit at turn 7, because you would almost always get a better exit coming out of turn 7.
I honestly think that came down to my line rather than what setup was, because I don't know why. I think I was the only guy doing it on track, but I was taking the like Astro on the outside of the curb as well, and putting the curb underneath the middle of my car.
Okay.
So it kind of opened up the corner a little bit for me, the trajectory, and it meant I was able to obviously be at a higher speed earlier than the rest of the guys. So I think that was came down to my line, and especially considering how fast Zach was on that second straight, that probably did help me get across the line first.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, you put it all together, didn't make any mistakes after your spin, from what I could tell. And yeah, a big win for you in the championship. The gap between you two now is 16 points. 16. Heading into the next round.
Yeah.
So it is technically, mathematically possible for you to wrap up the championship next week. And I think with Crichton's mentality to win it or bin it, that might happen. Might. But, how do you feel heading into next week's race at Albert Park?
Definitely pretty good. I like Melbourne, as I was saying the other week as well. Probably, I guess, my favourite track on this calendar, I'd say. Hopefully we've got some pretty good pace heading into there. It's definitely good knowing that I'm, obviously got a massive step ahead going into the final 2 races. Pressure's on Zach. We'll see how he fares.
Alrighty. Well, thank you to all 3 of you for joining me and the ex-commentator Pato, who was here but has dropped out. But no, thank you, and congratulations to all 3 of you for finishing on the podium. And well done, 40. Pole position and winning the race as well. Very good day in the office for you, so well done.
No, thanks, Lane. Appreciate it. GG's to Zach and Leo as well. Good stuff, fellas.
But I think this will wrap everything up. The race finally over and the questions all asked. Time for us to end the stream. I've been LaneEveringham. My co-commentator, as always, is G4.